That weather report on the phone really got different real fast. I was sitting here looking at my phone when it came back up at about 12:30 when I turned it off. Right? It said, it was about 91 degrees, and it says it had a 4% chance of rain, 4% chance of rain the rest of the day. Right? And by about 2:20, it started getting overcast and cool in the 80s. I felt like the 80s. And I thought to myself, well, I'll go out to the barn because it's cool, and I'll take some water and put it in the little air conditioner and set it by the back door and shoot hoops for about an hour, right? That was about 2:20. It's about 4 o'clock now, but I sat out there, and at first, the sun came out a little bit, and I was shooting. Then all of a sudden, the wind started coming. I was like, man, all we getting is wind and no rain. I was like, well, come on, drop us about a half an inch, not an inch like they got up in there in Montana Vista and stuff yesterday in El Paso, but because we just got irrigated, right? And so it just started dropping. I think we got about 3/4. I think nature came in halfway in between me and. So I think we got about 3/4 inch drop. It went for about dropped for about 45 minutes or so. It was pretty long, but it does that a lot of times when I go out to the basketball barn. Usually it rains, so I have to make sure if it looks like rain, get your ass out there. Get your ass out to the barn, Parsons. We need rain, you dumb buck. Okay. Sure. Wake her ass up. We want to win tomorrow, right? Water boy. So, yeah, I take my little Hopi ass out into the rec hall and shoot hoops. Do my little basketball rain dances. So that worked for me, man. That was pretty cool. So I came down. It was cool. I got to turn on the disco lights and everything like that because it was so dark outside. And listen to the thunder. Just playing some pretty good songs. I had to put Nancy Wilson on to grab my satin doll. Careful, amigo, you're tripping. Speaks Latin, that satin doll. She's nobody's fool, so she's playing it cool as can be. I'll give it a try, but you won't catch no guy catching her. Switcheroony, telephone number, well, cigarette holder? Okay. I'm going to have to talk you out of smoking. I had that with Miriam. Yeah, Edna Gomez. That was my girl. That was the one that, yeah. I liked her so much. She was so fun. It wasn't meant to be, when we were young. It just wasn't meant to be, Powers that be weren't going to let it be, She was so cool. You could call her cute because she was 4'10". And this is as tall as I get. She was so cute about it, She didn't get all upset. Law, you said you get all mad. You call me short. Okay, so you're vertically challenged. I was like 5'1.5". She wasn't real tall. Right? And so just live with it, work with it. It's, you're tiny. You're 5'1.5", 100 pounds, girl. You're little. You're tiny. You can get your shoes in the junior section. Edna was like, yeah, I know. I think Miriam was a little bit taller than Law. Steffi was like 5'4", 5'5". Amy is about 5'6". Yeah. But yeah, how old was Rocky? Rocky about 5'5", 5'6" too, about Amy's size. Yeah. Rocky was thicker in the hip and stuff. Not as much on the boob, but thicker in the hip. Amy had hips, but you had like a German butt and bigger boobs and stuff. It was interesting. Well, yeah, it was just, I don't compare people at all. I just appreciate who they are and understand who they are and don't appreciate, when their abuse comes back out on you. It's like, I didn't do shit to you. Okay, what the fuck? I try not to let my abuse affect other people. When you're abused, you try not to, you understand it and say, okay. Like I told you with my kids, when I go to work and I'd be upset because of all the shit. And I'd come home and the kids would be acting stupid because it's Los Estados Unidos it's Duck Dodgers in the 21st century, right? And so you'd get like, One time I really got mad was when Noah was lighting the fires in the window, and I told him not to, and picked him up by the scruff of his collar and pushed him into the pillows on his bed and said, I mean this. I'm not Steve-O and Johnny Knoxville, and I won't use the fucking TV to raise you. Okay? Listen to me. I'm really serious about this. That was it. That was the only time I ever got real hard with him. The hard thing was when he was backing up from being bullied and thing. Me and Amy had to give him an enema. That was terrible. That was one of the worst. That was horrible. You ever had to do that to your child? So I said, that's it. We pulled him out of school, and I homeschooled him for a while till we could get him in a school where he was not bullied, you know. So, yeah, it was supposed to be the best school in all of Cochise County. Oh, they were mean. Well, all the top and the elite military people went to school there. And the Cloris Leachman, they had a Cloris Leachman psychologist here, too. I don't know what the deal is. They all look like Cloris Leachman from the Facts of Life. They got the short haircut and the same mannerism, same everything. It's like, I feel like with Mel Brooks and Harvey Korman, that kid gets no tip, right? You're just like, do you have like a twin? Is this like a thing with the Pokemon where you have the sisters that are the nurses at each station, and Brock has a crush on all of them? I don't have a crush on any of them. No, I had nothing against Cloris Leachman. I kind of liked Cloris. She was hilarious and high anxiety, but no, when they go all Nurse Ratched, it's like, God damn, you are a mean bitch. I think it was Laura Ingraham or whatever and stuff when Chris Rock said that to her, and they were like, I can't believe he said that. It's like, what's true? Somebody needed to say it. Hey, he knows my mother, right? So it's sometimes sometimes things just need to be said. You fuck prim and proper. People are being murdered over money with technology, okay, and no one says it. And then you get all the rich people, if they're guys with the British accents, it's, well, we've started this thing with quantum computing and artificial general intelligence, and it could kill all of us. We'll find out. It's like, you do know they mean them, okay? They've been using artificial general intelligence, okay, to hunt down and kill people in the Middle East with smart weapons. Back when I was in the service, back in 1992 and 90, yeah, okay. They showed you the footage on the 6 o'clock news. Now here we got this, and see that Arab guy running for that? He dead now. We did that with our technology. We used our intelligence. So they call intelligence military intelligence, oxymoron. So artificial intelligence, if it gets in the hands of bad actors, that's Radigan. And Flavisham was saying, if Radigan gets this technology, Radigan already has his technology. Radigan was the one who commissioned the technology. Colonel Williams doesn't tell you what they're doing with it. Okay. I think it's going to be a long. There's no one here to raise your kids. In fact, it's cold as hell. I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here alone. I do not trust the quote-unquote wealthy half as far as jealous darling trust Johnny Rodriguez. Okay, I don't trust him a leg. I believe the famous people are fucked in the head. They think, I'm blessed for this life. You're blessed for this life. Okay. You're blessed. You won't stand up for a Lord's Prayer to save people from being murdered. You won't stand up for the Lord's Prayer for people from being manipulated and volunteering to die in the cities going, hey, but you got to do it. It's what everybody does. You get up, you start the car. It's like, no, you don't have to. John Denver, man, used to sing about it all the time. Guys, look, in my generation, before I was born, okay, 1936, the British went and retrieved a young man named Jiddu Krishnamurti from India, okay, who was living in abject poverty because his own government and his own people were ashamed of themselves because of the way the spirit of this man would tell them about themselves and help them correct themselves. A lot like Muhammad and Jesus and so forth, right? And so the British go get this guy, and he's so humble and so wise. Very wise was he, sad of eye, but very wise was he. He was brilliant. It was beautiful, okay? Because they say that these Oxford and Cambridge type schools educated him. That's not true, okay? They took him into the building and they talked with him. And he disagreed with large points of what they said. And then they would say, take the test or you're going to fail. So I don't care. I'm not going to regurgitate to you about tuppence. What's the other name of the other leg? Wooden leg named Smith? Come on, okay? Practically perfect in every way. If you're a prostitute and want to give everybody chlamydia and gonorrhea, let's get out of here. Robin Williams, he did it. But do you see what I'm saying? And so, by the time they got to me, you already had men that were very similar, and their public lives were altered and altered, especially Selassie, because the whites didn't want to look inferior to a man that was the inherent father and leader of a third world country that had a man that was more intelligent and could take everything that you learned in college and go and what is this? And Josh Baskin, I don't get it, right? So, and they said, well, that doesn't make any sense if you're going to do that. He was humbly brilliant. Okay, and Suzuki was very similar. Now, they were all different in personality traits, but as far as their perception and their understanding of natural laws and physics, and so they could explain it simply without being condescending or abrasive or abusive, and explain it more and understand it and explain it more intelligently than physicists that finish it, Flavisham, right? Okay, so and then when I came along, it's like what, and I remember that in Sierra Vista when Alan Gibson showed me the Judah Krishnamurti stuff, because he was given access to him because Bruce Lee read a lot of his books. And I'm like, they had this guy, what the fuck? They're not going to listen to me. I'm not nearly as intelligent or articulate as this guy. He's more intelligent and articulate than I am. I'm more like, it hurts when you do that. Well, then don't fucking do that. I'm more like that. I'm like the hillbilly version, right? Of course. And Mexican. Don't forget the Mexican version. On the lipways. Okay, there we go. So I'm like the Mexican hillbilly version with the barrio ghetto mixed in. I'm listening to Marvin Gaye. It's like Marvin Gaye is trying, but he doesn't get it. Guy's neither a possessive pronoun or a first person be, but he's trying his best to be a good person because he loves Jesus. And yes, Jesus loves me because the Bible tells me so, but Jesus isn't a God. Jesus is an eternal, perfect Father that gives us faith in God. That's the essence of all of us and all things, and is omniscient and omnipotent. You can't put it in a bottle or a book and sell it or enforce it on other people. You can't enforce the glory of God on other people, but you can humble yourself to faith in the glory of God, so you can understand the natural laws provided for an eternal existence, so you can love a lot like the Lord, even if you got a different personality and like different music, different dance, different food, and if you're a butt man or a boob man or both, or you know what I mean? Just being silly, you know what I'm saying? Okay, guys, well, let's see if this one will load in a timely manner too, just like the other four this morning, and we'll maybe talk in a few. I don't know, I'm kind of just relaxing from my exercise, so. All right, well, peace out. Wonder what she's doing now. Yeah, I was wondering about Edna and Miriam, and yeah. I love you guys, but man, you're fucking mean.